Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. Iran and Venezuela are in flames. And Nicolás Maduro, who doesn't understand what's happening, what's going on, because there are also fires in Venezuela that can't be explained. The fire is starting to spread, and we know that's a bad omen. A bad omen for the man who looks for solutions from shamans but can't find it right now. Family, your likes, your comments, let's get started. Oh.
Now that's it. That's it. There you go. There you go. That's how I like it. I like it when you're demanding 100%, 100%, third time's the charm.
Skip. I'm telling you, I was messing with things, testing stuff, and between one program and another, sometimes I just don't have time.
All right, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. We're live. Iran right now, and right now. Yeah, this is...
Sure.
Let's see how we do this. Let's see. Now we have a problem, a serious problem. Well, now we have to look at the whole world.
Markariba is no longer enough for us. Now we have to look at the Persian Gulf.
Sorry, I can't help but laugh, but right now there's a P-8 Poseidon plane flying around the Persian Gulf, identifying targets and gathering info. God knows what's going to happen there. After we leave, we'll pass through Africa. Greetings to the Alesis in Nigeria.
No, wait, there's a trick here. It's also about figuring out whose world this is. It's crazy, huh? Is this 2006 or 2026? I don't know if we're going to survive because this is intense. Look at this.
Planes everywhere in the Caribbean Sea. Oh my God, Nicholas, where have you gotten us into? We can't handle everything. We're going to have to do double or even triple shifts. I remember when we did 4 or 5 shows a day. I was younger then, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't even recall exactly. Welcome to Military Strategies, family. Nicolás Maduro suspects ground attacks by the CIA and prefers to discuss them openly. They interviewed him and asked, hey, what's going on with this?
What happened with this? In Military Strategies, does he... Just 48 hours ago, I think we did the last show last year, right? Last year, since today is the 3rd. By the way, do I have to make a phone call later to congratulate someone? There are things
He prefers not to discuss or comment on it, but we've learned this from the information we've gathered. Let's take a look at something I want to show you, and that I think already puts things where they need to be.
Well, that's how it is. Google Maps. There's no mystery here. Anyone can see this.
We're not putting any mega top secret operation of the United States of America at risk. It seems to be confirmed that this is the place where the attack was launched.
You'd have to be a bit clueless not to realize that these boats are for transporting, well, for what they're meant to transport.
The other day, Nicolás Maduro, or the Gulf Cartel, or the Syndicate, I already call it the Crime Syndicate. This is like that game, Assassin's Creed. The Syndicate decided on December 31st, they said, well, the American soldiers, the ones who are there in Panama, they're still there today. From the old year to the new year, they're not going to be paying attention. Someone requested a large amount of flour to be transported.
And what happened?
They sent 3 shuttles. The shuttles ended up like the Back to the Future car.
Blown up.
I'm going to look for the video because we haven't played it, so allow me to go back. I wasn't going to mention this, but I couldn't forget. 3 narco-terrorists' speedboats.
blown up south of the Mexican coast. This also draws attention in a very high area. The United States has its entire coast sealed off. Nothing gets in there, nothing. They are not allowing any kind of element to enter.
So,
Of any kind, any kind. And now you're going to see it in the video if I can find it. I think it's around here somewhere. I have 20,000 videos in my history and need to clean them up someday, but I feel bad deleting so many because it documents current world events. The topic of Iran is complex, with new information and details coming in. We'll need to start another live stream later. It's tough. Let's get into it. South Command page? Let's check it out here. Let's see if that darn video shows up. Because it is already played. The other day, the video was declassified. There it is. There it is. Oh my God, says Petro. Watching the video makes me uncomfortable. Whoever gets on that boat, I don't know. You have to be crazy to get on a boat like that. Petro says that some of them jumped into the water and that they should go rescue them. Until they give a location. Don't stop me from laughing because they're not very funny. Petro, I'm going to look for him. Petro Petronidas, Gustavo Petro, president of Colombia, gives the location. This is great. It's just that... Sorry for laughing, everyone, but this is just unbelievable. Petro, I actually like Petro more than Nicolás Maduro now. Look at what Petro says before watching the video. Check this out, look at this. He says, I'm warning all governments. In the extraterrestrials, it also says warning to all the governments in the area. This seems to be the exact area where the boatman who jumped fell. The boats that were bombed, they know that 3 people died. The rest survived because they jumped into the sea, it says. Information obtained by our naval force, which is willing to cooperate, marks a location that is to be taken. I'm going to say where in Spanish it's south of El Salvador. What is the Colombian Naval Force doing there? I can't forgive. Let me laugh. This is a serious show. Not forgiving. I don't know what's funnier. So Petro says this information came from the Colombian Navy. Or he says, go rescue them. Rescue them? We have people in the water. My God, it's just that it is. Can we do the show like this? Yes. This has to stop. At some point, this has to stop. Petro, please don't do this to us. You're too much. Does Petro provide geolocation? See, they were here. Yeah, that's all that's left for him to say, right? I was checking on my cell phone, on WhatsApp. They had sent me the real-time location.
wonderful.
It's great. What does Gustavo Petro mean with this story? What is he referring to? This is meme material. It's for making a meme. Look, this is... This one, no, this first one. No, wait a second. Today we're going crazy. Here in January, the year has just started. Look at this beautiful thing. 3 whales in an ocean called Pacific, but it's only peaceful in name because the reality is that the 3 whales, not very peaceful. Oh, man. And in the end, the boat looks like the one from Maris's story. Where are we? Weren't we just here? I'm getting lost. The Venezuelan geography is putting my senses to the test. Okay, yes, we were here, yes. I say that the type of boat, the type of shell, or shells, they look a bit like these. Maybe they're for double use. Hey, who doesn't have a multi-purpose boat these days that you can use for fishing or transporting? And that's nothing special. What kind of boat are we talking about? Happy New Year, Happy New Year. It's clear now, there's a story here, huh?
There were 2 damn people.
The Secretary of War went too far this time. You guys really went overboard, but brutally. I mean, the lasers on the first one. Just imagine the story. Imagine for a moment that you are the ones in the boat and you see that the boss, who is the one setting the course, the main whale, the calf, Moby Dick, bursts. And the other two behind? The other two behind. And now what do you do and say? Well, I have about 20 seconds to make a decision. Either I let him blow me up or the sharks eat me. Literally. Literally. Well then. It looks like someone jumped into the water. And called Petro. Sent to save our souls.
El SOS.
Red alert.
Mother of God.
Of course. We know what happened to the first boat. We know what happened to the second. We didn't know what had happened to the third.
Esto.
I think it's an armed C-130. Look here, doing a bit of analysis. You can see the ammunition here, see? 3 impacts, front then back. And that's the engine, and out to the engine, and out. It's over, game over. 3? What happened? We've only seen 1, right? Here's another video, bye. And festival, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Petro says they're there to rescue them. We don't want the sharks to get poisoned. Yes, ma'am. We, meanwhile, celebrating or talking about the new year. And were they there at sea or not? I imagine so. Petro, a question. Gustavo, a question. On December 31st, do transportation costs increase due to the holiday, or how do you manage this from the 31st to the 1st? Do you pay the boatman extra, or how did that work? Really amazing, really amazing. It's incredible how many things happen and all the things that go on. Well, let's get to the point. Let's get to the point. What else is there? For several weeks now, there have been widespread fires in important areas of Venezuela, all related to companies, factories, or even military bases. What is really happening? What we are seeing, or what is happening because of this story, is that someone or something is clearly sabotaging critical facilities or critical companies in the country. The other day, we clearly knew that there was an attack. We're going to come back to this again because I'd like to emphasize this, that there was an attack about this location, a kind of village. Of DHL, a transport company that was here. I mean, there was one. We still don't have good quality satellite images, but it's assumed from the images we've seen. And now we're going to show another photograph. Was the suspect in this attack, or were the suspects Hellfire missiles? Who could have carried out such a large attack? Could drones have done it? We always know that MQ Reapers can carry Hellfire missiles. It could have been C-130 planes, well, from the Hercules 130 class. It could have been attack helicopters. We'll really see what happened there. The question is clear. How did that missile get there? What is the range? And is this the drone? 11 kilometers at high altitude. They can be launched at 11 kilometers. What are we going to do? It's obvious. It's a reconstruction, 11 kilometers. We come all the way here. And look. This is the theoretical maximum range.
No.
And the range of the Hellfire. That means, therefore, that any aircraft of the United States of America, also known as President of the United States, they had to be 11 kilometers from the coast. If they had to be 11 kilometers from the coast, they had to go pretty far in. This is counting 11 kilometers from a drone. If it's launched from another aircraft, the distance is reduced to 8 kilometers. Let's suppose it's between 8 and 11. Let's mark this again. 1 second. Let's see.
We're back again.
That's the most advantageous distance, the distance. The ideal, common, usual one is 8 kilometers. Maybe a new one puts us in a complicated situation. An aircraft had to enter Venezuelan airspace. It had to enter the Gulf of Venezuela, evade the anti-aircraft defenses, radars, and carry out the attack. All right. What if we try something different? And what if we ignore the Gulf of Venezuela? We mark the little house on the prairie again and head west. Ah, well. We have a border here. And from Colombian airspace, you can launch the device. 11 kilometers. There we see it. Let's mark it in a different color. Let's make it big so people can see it. Let's edit the others as well. We're going to put the 11-kilometer one in color. Let's see, this one works for me in yellow. 11 kilometers in purple, 8 kilometers. Let's actually edit this one so that there's a small separation. There we go. This is the scenario we're starting from. 10 kilometers with a drone, 8 kilometers with an aircraft flying lower. Could they have done it from Colombia? That might make sense. A drone like the ones used from an American airbase in Colombia.
Yep.
Officially on patrol, approaches Venezuela.
No.
It reaches this area. At peak altitude, it fires Hellfire missiles. And see you later. You can see from that distance, the transport settlement can be seen, so it wouldn't be a discardable option. Here, searching for it a little.
Oh.
Why do I say that about the story? An MQ Reaper has certain weaknesses against an Air Force,
Oh,
an anti-air defense. Relatively medium, even low. Look, the cooties have shot down drones. Nicolás Maduro has a superior system to the cooties. Could he shoot down drones? Unless that drone has been equipped with the famous module, the secret module we've seen in some electronic warfare photos. To get in there, it could have come in through the coastal area from Colombia, coming down through this area here. And over this one, to launch the attack. But it's still inside. The Gulf of Venezuela is still within a danger zone. The fact is that the attack happened and Nicolás Maduro has spoken about this issue.
Supposedly a drug processing factory. Precisely, his government has so far neither confirmed nor denied that information. What could you tell us about that?
Look, that might be a topic we could discuss in a few days in a second episode of this podcast, right? Surely in a few days we could talk. What I can tell you is that the National Defensive System, which combines the popular military and police force, has guaranteed and continues to guarantee territorial integrity. The peace of the country and the use and enjoyment of all our territories and our people are safe and at peace. Can I give you a little hint about something?
Is Nicolás Maduro saying here that his airspace is inviolable? That his airspace is inviolable? No, you can't enter and that it's safe. If that's the case, how come Hellfire missile debris has appeared on the coast? How is that possible? Are we missing an explanation on this topic, or does he just not want to admit it? Is that all? Have they asked around here? CM 533. What am I smoking? This is a smoke-free area. The only smoke here is from the things burning in Venezuela and Iran. CM 533. Thanks for being part of the community. I hope you stay with us. The thing here is that Mr. Bigotes says we'll talk about this later.
It's also said that you had a conversation with President Trump and...
Now they're moving on to the topic of the conversation. We're going to see it now. On one hand, we have Vladimir Padrino not saying what's happening. Diosdado isn't saying what's happening either. And Maduro says we'll talk in a few days. By the way, is it Will O'Keefe's music channel? Search for Will O'Keefe on the music channel and subscribe. 100% recommended by Military Strategy Seal of Quality. Maduro says, how am I supposed to acknowledge that they've blown up a parcel and courier agency? With a drone or with a plane or with whatever it is? Because, of course, what would have been normal would have launched air-to-ground missiles from a plane. And bang, bang, boom. But what if Donald Trump just wanted to be discreet so that only Nicolás Maduro would find out? So he would be made to look ridiculous, in quotes, internally, and not humiliate them externally. Trump told everyone in the end, you're not going to launch a cruise missile at him. That would cause a huge mess. It's like a July 7th. 250 kilos of Tomahawk missile of explosives. I mean, the warhead blowing up over a cabin there on the Gulf Coast, Venezuela. It would have been visible from space, practically. And dropping a JDAM bomb. Even worse, 500 to 1,000 kilos. They dropped it. So what do you have left? Just Hellfire missiles, which are contained. It can be high explosive with penetration capability. It can also be the ones with blades, the ones that cut, but not in this case.
They probably used explosive Hellfire missiles. More discreet, more subtle, but just as lethal. And besides, the cost per unit is much, much lower. I think the cost of the Hellfire missile is much, much lower than that of a Tomahawk. A Tomahawk costs over $4 million, while a basic Hellfire, around $100,000 to $150,000 per unit. $70,000 if you buy in bulk, that is a lot. But about $100,000 per missile is much more reasonable. The cost is much more reasonable. All right, let's continue with this. Let's continue with this because it's very, very interesting. Is Nicolás Maduro going to speak now, and he still doesn't understand why there are so many fires? What the hell is going on? What's happening? But he's going to talk about the conversation now.
Right? And lately it's been said that there was a second conversation. Can you confirm if there was this second conversation with the president?
I was watching there. Speculation about a second conversation.
This is a scheduled interview. You also have to understand the context of this. The questions are agreed upon. He knows what he's going to be asked. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Ramon, we've only had one conversation. He called me.
He says Trump called him. Still, he said he wanted to talk to Donald Trump.
On Friday, November 21st from the White House. I was at the palace. Miraflores. We talked for 10 minutes.
The car you're seeing is driving in Fuerte Tuna. In Fuerte Tuna. Yes, let's check. Miraflores. Mrs. Nicolás Maduro is there to take care of him as a vulnerable person. That is, it's like someone who has a person with a disability. And she is there to take care of him. To take care of him, that's why she's there. Many thanks to Jesus. The intro song of Estrategias del Brutal? Don't change it. They're all paid. You ask me a lot. Where do I get it from? Do you have to open your wallet to pay for them because of copyright? If I don't warn you, you'll get a strike. I know it's happened before. 2 people have already lost their YouTube channels.
It was, as I said, a very respectful conversation.
Very respectful.
What did President Estrada say to you?
Oh my, Saleta, she looks like they got her out of bed without makeup. She's falling asleep.
The first thing Mr. President Maduro said to me,
The first thing President Maduro told me was...
And
Me? Fran doesn't talk like that. Nicholas would have said it.
I told him, Mr. President Donald Trump.
President Donald Trump is improving his English.
And I think it was even pleasant.
Yes, it was pleasant when they told him to leave.
That conversation, but he looks like a mummy. Since then, the developments after that conversation haven't been pleasant.
They haven't been pleasant. I mean... The 10-minute conversation. Let's see. Nicholas, can you hear me? Do you understand me? Do you have the translator on? Yes, yes. Okay, Nicholas, look, I'm here with Marco Rubio. With the Secretary of War, we have the map of Venezuela open right now. We know where you are, Nicholas. We know that right now you're in this room in the Miraflores Palace. We just want to let you know that you have to leave. With whatever you can carry in your hands. That's it. You have to go, Nicholas. Look at it however you want. We're giving you a chance. You can come. You'll have a cell next to Chapo Guzman. If you don't leave, then we'll come after you, and it's going to hurt. He says, of course, the other conversations haven't gone so well, and let's hope.
Thank you. I leave everything in God's hands.
Yes, you ask him because the kings are coming.
Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth. Above all, on a day like today, December 31st, with a wonderful, majestic sky with that color, meanwhile the evening is falling over this peaceful and beautiful Caracas,
But if it's nighttime,
I entrust everything to God. God,
just imagine. If Donald Trump gave the order, And the Uber Nicolás Maduro is in. Received a hellfire.
God knows what he's doing. Us, he said.
December 32nd.
Let's see what President Trump told him.
The first thing Mr. President Maduro told me,
Excellent.
I told him President Donald Trump, and I think that conversation was even pleasant, but after that, the developments following the conversation have not been pleasant. And let's hope. I leave everything in God's hands.
Let's see if he says something.
32 Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth. Above all, on a day like today, December 31st,
He hasn't told me December 31st.
don't lie with the wonderful, majestic sky with that color while the evening falls in this peaceful and beautiful Caracas. I give everything to God.
The Van Allen cruiser that Nicholas has, you should start changing cars because they've already got you on file.
God knows what he does. Let's act with ethics, with morals, with patriotism, with love for our country for 2026.
With 2026. He still looks. No, he said 30, not 32. I don't think so. Thanks.
I entrust it to God, Almighty God, creator of heaven and earth, especially on a day like today, December 31st.
I'm listening on headphones, he said. 31. Let's see if we're not watching the same video. I'm here with headphones. I hear 31. Otherwise, I'd be very critical. But I take donkey. Well, it doesn't matter. 31, 32. He doesn't even know where he is. He's a poor sick man. Poor sick man. Yes, it may sound like 32 due to the accent, but it's actually 31. It's 31. Well, with that pointing finger, Nicholas, we have to show you a couple of things. Look at what's happening. Games and more fireworks. Could this be caused on purpose? A bet for himself. He can't. Now comes a topic that is interesting. If Donald Trump has said that he will protect the protesters in Iran, if Iran goes too far. My question, I think, is clear and simple. If at any moment the order was given, or if there was an invitation, or it was openly requested by people with the ability to influence the population of Venezuela for them to take to the streets, to protest and take to the streets, and if the government did as it did in 2024, send the motoratones to hunt, back to our Donald Trump? Probably. Yes. At least that's what we think. Check this out. The P8 is coming back now. To its base in Sicily, but look, where has it been doing reconnaissance? It has been in this area here, and it could be for several reasons. It's in front of Tartus, which is the naval base that Russia has there. It could be either because there's a Soviet submarine patrolling this area, or because they're also following an oil tanker. This is also very likely, but it draws attention. Since the war between Syria and what happened there, and also the war in Lebanon, we didn't see a P-8 flying around this area, in this sector. Things are happening, things are going on, and this one keeps flying around here. Within the end of Iran. It's within the airspace controlled by Iran. Not its own airspace, but the area controlled by the Iranian air traffic controller.
Is this like Venezuela's ending? And where is it conducting reconnaissance? Well, it's clear he's focusing on this entire coastal area, the Bandar Abbas area, all this area we see around here. He's conducting reconnaissance in that area. He won't go alone. He has to have some air escort, probably with an in-flight refueling plane that's not showing up out there to provide security, just in case the Iranians get any funny ideas. So, well, we have to keep an eye on two places at the same time. This is absolutely crazy. Are you going to finish us off, Marco Rubio? And we try to do everything, but we just can't handle it all. All right. The notice to airmen for the Aruba area has been renewed. Curacao, Venezuela air safety, it's been renewed again. Did you know that one of them was due on the 3rd? It has been renewed, so. The general air blockade continues for international airlines, so they don't land there very often, except those aligned with Nicolás Maduro's regime. But Nicolás Maduro? This 2025 has given us memorable images like these. Take a look at what you're about to see. Nicola in his purest form.
I don't want material wealth in my life. I have just one account, a little savings account, where they deposit my little presidential salary.
And he says it to you with a Rolex in his hand?
But I can't see his face. I earn 2 petro. 2 petro?
Which is 2 petro, please. People of Venezuela, what is the salary? 2 petro?
But I never see that money because when I go to get it, Silita has already taken it to buy something.
How can you laugh at people like that?
Yes.
Before?
It's terrible. When he starts with all these stories, he starts rambling and making fun of his own people. He's a Grinch, a total Grinch. He talks about Nicolás Maduro just like that, so easily, saying that he earns very little, that he gets a small salary, he says. $400. $500. 400. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Ana Ortiz, for those 20 memberships starting the year with us, giving away memberships. Thank you so much, Ana. Thank you for those other 2040 memberships. Family, we're starting the year with energy, with wisdom, and with new members. Congratulations to everyone. And the CIA had been operating from within Venezuela for a while, so Girafales was late with his suspicion, says Andrea. They know that, yes, they are there. They're around, and they're doing things. Why does he do that? First, the United States. Create chaos and nervousness. See where there shouldn't be any. Any fire can be related to what is happening, to what is going on. Can this also be useful to Nicolás Maduro's regime? But it's a preamble. It's obviously just a preamble of what's coming. And that things are not slowing down, even though we've had a few days now. I see what's about to happen in Iran, and it's significant. There will be a balance of interests on a global level. On a global level, there will be a balance of interests in which things will be divided. A period between Iran and another period between Venezuela. We, for example, on the channel are talking about Iran, Venezuela, and Israel. These last few weeks, we've been very focused on Venezuela, but now we also see that there's a potential or quite a strong situation in Iran. Caros, SP-8 is currently circling over a location. I'd like to check marine traffic now to see what's there for SP-8 to be present. Right, huh? Pinned, right? What kind of device could be there? Or what kind of, ship could they be tracking if there is any? And it'll be nearly impossible. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. It could also be because maybe an incident happened in the last few hours that we haven't found out about yet. Maybe a kidnapping happened. An oil tanker, for example, to challenge Donald Trump. They take an oil tanker and things like that. I'm only focusing on oil tankers. I'm not looking at any other type of ship. Just imagine any type of ship. It would be all of this. So, I, who am only focusing right now at this moment on tankers, would stick with this. What could Iran do about this issue? It would be something to analyze. Could they call elections to try to appease the people? He could try. Find money anywhere, even under rocks, and gain liquidity. For the people temporarily, until the people calm down. But I think that the fall of Venezuela and the fall of Iran go hand in hand. I'm looking at this scenario that I'm seeing here. It's something that breaks every pattern. Two high-intensity conflicts for the United States of America at the same time. Venezuela, which is one, obviously, and Iran, which is another. Those two conflicts at the same time. Against a common enemy. And the common enemy is these people. These guys are partners. The Iranians and the Venezuelans. If Venezuela falls, so does Iran. If Iran falls, so does Venezuela. If it weren't like that, that is, if it weren't convenient for the United States, what's happening right now inside Iran wouldn't be happening. Also, everything has happened on the eve of Netanyahu's arrival at Mar-a-Lago. This is also something to keep in mind. There have been some important leader-to-leader conversations there. If what we're talking about is what we're seeing right now, this story, the United States could be capable of handling two conflicts at the same time. Obviously, in the case of Venezuela, it's alone. In the case of Iran, it's with Israel. They must have talked and said the logistical needs are different, which people need to understand. Whereas in the conflict with Venezuela, what the United States is going to need is a lot of intelligence on the ground to take out key cartel targets. And it won't really need much anti-air defense because of all the ships it has deployed there. In the case of Iran, it's completely different. There, it will need fighter jets, 15 planes, air-to-air capabilities to defend against drones, cruise missiles, and anti-air defenses. Sports the Patriots to defend against ballistic missiles. Is Israel going to need mainly the Arrow system and others as well? David Sling. The operational needs differ. Keep in mind that once Israel and the United States start striking, Iran's anti-aircraft capabilities are lost. In Venezuela, it's a very complex scenario from a geographical point of view. It's a big country. Let's look here again. These are completely different environments. Venezuela is large, but Iran is even larger. But there's one thing Iran lacks. Venezuela is a jungle. Venezuela is a jungle. And try to find Nicolás Maduro here. It's green lung. However, the orography of Tehran, Iran, is used for filming. You can detect any Earth movement in the last 10 years and know where there is a bunker.
You can find bases, you can find many things. It's much easier to identify. Yes, it's true. They will hide under the mountains, but we already know that you can enter there from the air or from the ground. You can get in. Which means the regime has a place to defend itself. Venezuela's regime has many options, while Iran's has very few options. Although it's bigger than this, that's true, it's much bigger. Even though it may sound crazy what I'm saying, the scenarios are different. For Nicolás Maduro, it makes things easier. There are limitations because of vegetation and other factors, but here there aren't any. Here, this is a desert, that's what it is, and there are no trees. An aerial recognition system can identify a caravan, a convoy, moving through here. Inside the jungle, try to identify it. It's not that easy. They are different, but it's also true. I've been reading the Jerusalem Post today. This thing about the regime's chemical weapons and this whole story. I would like to make a comment. A while ago,
Comentábamos, decíamos.
weapons that are more dangerous than nuclear weapons are biological warfare, chemical, which are very dangerous, easy to build, and already invented. The recipe can be obtained relatively easily. Please, I want to tell the platform that we are talking about informational content, educational content. We are not inciting any kind of violence, any kind of military action against anyone. We are simply analyzing what is happening. This is a news program about military analysis, geostrategic analysis. Thank you. What I mean by this is it's relatively easy. Syria had them. There were Iranian experts in Mashiach. Unofficially, one was captured. I remember YouTube claiming the program was censored because the event hadn't happened, but soon after, footage appeared proving it had. The program never came back, and there were no apologies either. It's okay, I understand. Sometimes the story of the Israel Defense Forces is normal. Sometimes it's like a movie, a blockbuster. What I mean by this is it true that they could have or could possess a chemical arsenal? A series of ideas come to mind that are relatively easy to obtain and cheap, but can cause a lot of harm. But there's a small but important detail. But just tonight, talking with a couple of people, we were analyzing it and saying, the thing is, if Iran takes that step, that is, if Iran launches that kind of ammunition against Israel or against an American military base, the response will be catastrophic. Let's put it this way. From this point of view, the regime would only use that kind of weapon if it knows it's the end. It's like my farewell. I leave my last signature. If it was stolen or decommissioned, the leadership is being hunted. The protesters have taken over. There's nothing else to do. This is the end. Skying over. Now all that's left is to press the button with the last batch, whatever we can fire loaded with that. Why would it be like that? Because they know otherwise that Israel has unconventional defensive capabilities. The United States has it too. And besides, it would obviously provoke an international reaction in which countries worthy of being called countries would join a coalition to overthrow the regime. Something similar happened in Iraq with Saddam Hussein and non-existent weapons. Now, if such weapons are real and used, could we see it the same way? I mean, that is to say, it would mean the total isolation of Iran on a global level. Even Russia would turn its back on them. If Russia had wanted Iran to have nuclear weapons, they would have them. They could even give them to them as a gift, literally. Is Russia also concerned or suspicious that these people may have nuclear weapons? China too, North Korea. No, he doesn't care, he says. The more crazy people there are in the world, the more at ease they leave me. While they're busy with Iran, they're leaving me alone so I can keep getting stronger. So that Rocket Man guy is delighted, but Putin, Xi Jinping, and all those people who like to be part of the exclusive club, I don't want Iran to have nukes. Otherwise, I would have them. This is honest. Iran has been seeking them with its engineers and scientists externally, obviously with some help from information that must have been leaked. Information nowadays is power, and it gets leaked and sold. But yes, it could be an option. It could be an option. What has been sent from Tehran to Venezuela are drones with a range of 2,000 kilometers armed. Attack drones. Where could they go? Well, if we launch from here, and we go 2,000 kilometers, well, we get up to there. You guys get the idea, to be more honest. Let's draw up to the line where they could reach Tampa. So people can see it clearly. There we are, along this whole line. If we look over here, they could reach with those drones provided by Iran. Let's imagine for a moment that Cuba also received drones. Because in this operation, Cuba is also going to be part of the operation. This is Havana. 2,000 kilometers. Well, more or less, to New York. Let's put it here. This is not nonsense. This is not nonsense. Then we have from Iran a missile capable of carrying non-conventional things, with a range of 10,000 kilometers. Let's imagine for a second that this missile or this system is deployed in Kermisham. Let's look at the 10,000 kilometers. Because the United States and New York have a problem. $10,000 kilometers. You're not going to surprise us with anything. You're going to understand it now. Let's put the Iranians' ones in color. Yellow. We're not going to use pink for them today because they don't like pink. Now you're going to understand one of the main reasons why the United States wants Greenland. Look, why? Let's say that Greenland is halfway along the 10,000 kilometers. Of the missiles from Iran? From that perspective, they should fire toward that side, the west. If the United States wants to place interceptors of great altitude in this area, that's the boundary point. So here he's also explaining where things are headed.
Apart from Russia, which is another great threat, obviously it's another great threat, and the United States needs to set up those kinds of military installations to defend itself. Outside the United States, rather close to Europe, it already has some in Gibraltar, and now it needs them in Greenland. But it is something obvious. I mean, Iran has within its reach practically half the planet. With the help of Nicolás Maduro. That's why the United States wants to resolve the Nicolás Maduro issue. That's why the United States wants to close the issue of Cuba. And that's why the United States wants to close the issue of Greenland and the issue of Iran. Everything is connected. There's a correlation of strategic needs for the United States that make what we're seeing right now necessary. Family, there are 13,000 of us, but we only have 6,000 likes. Your likes are very important, so please help us out. We need more family. We need more so they don't censor us. This we're talking about is super important because launching something like this is no joke. An attack on Iran could prompt a full-scale response from them. With everything. Can Europe defend against an Iranian attack? That's another question. Can Europe defend itself from an Iranian attack? No. Europe lacks Israel's advanced defensive system. Spain has 2 Patriot missile batteries, one deployed in Turkey, and I don't know what it's doing there. Maybe it's because Erdogan lacks military strength, so we have to send him Spanish-funded missiles. It's an old system. It's already quite an old platform. It's not new. This is secondhand from Bass, and the other one I think is in Spain, not deployed directly. The rest of the countries. Germany is desperate to buy air defense systems from Israel because they know what's coming. Poland as well. There are Patriot systems deployed, but this is not enough for a Europe that is vast, that is gigantic, and that cannot protect itself from an Iranian attack, for example. It's already concerning if Russian drones repeatedly enter European airspace at night, and the only response is sending planes to shoot them down. It's a poor system, a very poor one, and that's where the problem is going to come for us. But let's not get sidetracked. Venezuela, what's going to happen here? The buildup of troops continues, even though it seems like there's radio silence, even though it seems like nothing is happening, that nothing noteworthy, nothing important is going on. There's a buildup of troops here. More and more are arriving, more and more things are happening. And it's clear it could erupt at any moment. It will erupt, maybe the United States. Of course, what I'm saying is, let's approach this in a way we haven't done until now. Maybe the United States wants to put an end to the Iran issue the way things are happening right now, like everything that's going on. They want to put an end to the Iran issue. And since they know that Venezuela is an important ally of Iran, that Iran could launch attacks on the United States from there. They're deploying all that force to show Nicolás Maduro not to make a move. Not to make any moves. Maybe it's a protection zone for the United States. No one had thought about this format either. We deployed a significant force, Mar Caribe, and covered that sector. That could be it too. One of the options. Try to stay a southern strategic security zone. Everything could be about the fact that lately we haven't been seeing planes. We haven't been seeing B-52s in the air or anything like that. I'm going to tell you something. They are happening. B-1 and B-52 planes are entering the operations area covertly. F-18 planes are still patrolling the area. Things are still happening. Things are still going on. Everything is going as usual. What's happening is that right now, the United States wants discretion. The United States, what it wants right now is for the minimum necessary to be known. The minimum necessary. Iran has ordered this, and it will also happen with Venezuela. Is this for banks to prepare for a systemic collapse? There has been a leak that Iran decorate the banks, that they stock up and back up all their material. In the event of a possible collapse of the political and military apparatus, and for there to be economic survival. At the command of this, the best thing is that something is going to happen. And every time, and more, the pressure keeps building. Video just now. An hour to watch this. And an hour ago in Iran. This could start any time in Venezuela. It hasn't officially been asked for people to take to the streets yet. People are free to do what they want. If people see what's happening in Iran and what it takes to overthrow a regime, this is a call effect. It's a call effect to say, this that is happening will keep happening and it will spread. Chira, which is one of the cities where the attack took place, from where Israel was attacked right now, also with protests and repression, at this moment. There are arrests happening, things are going on, the number of deaths increases every day. This is escalating. Trucks with weapons have arrived. They are barricading themselves in cities. And they are preparing for a battle. Take a look at this video. Will this happen in Venezuela?
No.
Maybe not to that extent, but there will be protests at some point. There will be. Look here.
Don't do what you told me.
They're arriving in the cities and they're starting to block them. And in the end, this is going to fall. To fall completely. That's right. And Nicolás Maduro, who doesn't know what's going to happen, or what's happening, or what's coming. We're going to stay here on alert, on total maximum alert, to see what's happening, what's going on. Now we have 2 conflicts opening up for us. Definitely dangerous. Let's read super chats and check comments. They say over here. Let's see, Eva. Good stuff. Let's go for 2026 with enthusiasm. Friends, strategies. Take good care of yourselves, please. Thank you so much, Evelyn, who has been with us for a long time. Willow, I missed you. Happy 2026. Willow, we've always missed you. Stop leaving us. I don't know. We're coming for you, Andres. Strategies. How's your health? Is it okay? One question. What do you think will happen first, the overthrow of Maduro or the Ayatollah? Huh? Good question, Andres. I don't know the answer. I don't have an answer. Right now, with the data I have, I couldn't say what it is or what would happen faster. Maybe the fact that the streets are already on fire. In Iran could speed things up, but also it's a situation that's happening too fast. By the way, I wanted to say this on December 31st in a city in Europe. To someone who probably doesn't like it very much, a church was set on fire. I wanted to mention it. I had forgotten to apologize. I think that's unfortunate. And it's something eerie. Europe is like this, in free fall with no brakes, no parachute, and no options at all. The issue with Iran is that events are moving too quickly, and what if there's not enough external support? It's a military move, a coup, an attack. Or the population quickly arms itself to end it. With the Ayatollahs or drives them away, it won't get anywhere if there isn't foreign support. However, if there is foreign support from the United States and Israel, it's likely that the situation in Iran will end faster than Maduro's. Unless now, tomorrow in Caracas, the protests start and this begins to escalate. But I don't think Donald Trump is on that path now. Maybe he has seen an opportunity in Iran and wants to go for that first, before Venezuela. It could be, I know a lot of people won't like this, but it could be. Yermel, is that really the best intro background sound? 5 stars? Thanks. Maricel, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much again. Makakira, welcome Willow Kira. Happy to be with you all, you too, Miriam. I love it when you laugh, you're amazing. Love to the mods, welcome Willow Kira. Thank you very much. It's just that sometimes it's something to laugh about. The intro song of Estrategias is awesome, don't change it. If we have 20 or 40, I don't know, we change it from time to time. Jesus, thank you, Pim, Pam, Pum, Super Chat, greetings, strategies, says William.
Yeah.
Victor, we welcome you, Victor Carlos Fuentes. Global Express plane in front of Ponce, circling around. Rosita's tarot is the same conflict in 2 different places on the planet. It's the same 2 dictatorships. Rosita, 2 dictatorships right now joined together. That's right, they're like Siamese twins. Both have oil, both have their people in poverty. Both are dictatorial, one with its
Elocuencias.
religious eloquence, the other simply for economic interest. Victor Bueno, no. Victoria Estrategias. Good evening to the whole community, Nicolás Maduro. You already have to surrender to the amazing, your intro, Estrategias. Blessings to everyone. Victor, you asked us to do 3 intros. Today we do 3, what can I say? Mia. I'm a person who's here to make you happy. Thank you, family. Time to rest. Now we're heading over here to military strategies. I like to be realistic. I like to be pragmatic about what's happening. I think there's quite a bit of opportunity right now in Iran. There's also opportunity in Venezuela. Of course there is. What's happening in Venezuela is no small thing. And both things can happen at the same time. Look, if they happen at the same time, that's even better. 2 problems less. But we have to keep an eye on how things develop. Family, greetings to you all. Have a very good night. January 3rd, 2026. 3 days into the year, and look at where we are now. A war in Iran. Has it already started, or is it just about to begin? From the moment the United States attacked Venezuelan territory, it has already started. There's a war, that's clear. Maduro won't say it due to official consequences, but we are at war. Family, see you at the next Military Strategies show. Best regards.